Two homes, both around 1.3 million, both in Guelph, Ontario. One sold in 4 days, $61,000 over asking, and the other has been sitting on the market for 4 months. And here's what could surprise you, or at least stop you. When the sellers relisted it, they actually raised the price. 4 months in, still waiting. If you're thinking about buying or selling in Guelph's luxury market, I'm going to touch on what I mean by luxury right now. I'm going to show you exactly what the data is telling us, because the gap between those two homes tells you everything that you're probably going to need to know about today's market. And believe it or not, it has nothing to do with price. Welcome back. I'm Varsha Pasel, real estate advisor and life transition coach right here in Guelph, Ontario. This is your Guelph luxury market update for May 2026, covering what is happening in the 1 million and above segment right now. And I want to be upfront with you about something. This is not going to be your typical luxury market update. I'm not going to read you a list of numbers and leave you to figure out what they mean. I'm going to show you what those numbers actually prove, because this is a market that is doing something very specific. And once you see it, you will not be able to look at $1 million segment the same again, truly. So let's get into it. Before anything else, I want to define something. You guessed it, luxury. Luxury in Guelph is truly just not a price point. And I say that because I know that that sounds like a strong thing to say. So let me back it up. The chief operating officer of Engel & Volkers, one of the most recognizable luxury real estate brands in the world, has described luxury not as a dollar figure, but as a uniqueness, as a desirability, as something people genuinely pine for. And the phrase he used was, as long as it's special. That framing matters a lot when you're watching this video, and truly when you're looking at properties of that nature in this market, because Guelph has homes that are genuinely special, character properties, century homes, custom builds on real lots, homes with architectural history, homes in neighborhoods that people move here specifically just to live in those neighborhoods. And then Guelph also has homes that are super expensive, brand new, large homes on narrow lots in subdivisions with premium finishes and absolutely no particular soul. The market knows the difference. You know the difference. The data is proving it right now. So here is how I think about the price tiers based on what I'm seeing in the MLS. 1 million to 1.3 million. This is really your entry level into high end. You can go there. Whether it's truly luxury depends enormously on what you are buying. Character matters even at this tier. Okay, next we're going to look at the 1.3 to 1.7 million. This is where things kind of get split. This is where the distinction happens between expensive and special. Most of what we're going to talk about today is in this data point, and there is a story to the home here. Next, we have the 1.7 to 2.5, sort of that upper luxury boutique inventory, serious buyers, and then 2.5 million and above. It's a reality here in Guelph. That's considered Guelph's ultra luxury segment. And because of that, it's rare and remarkable properties that you will never find anywhere else. This city truly showcases some of the best in that pricing tier, and you're going to have a look at that here as well. The metric that tells you or tells me anything about this market really is days on market. It's not the list price. It's not even the final sale price. It truly is the days on market. And that's specifically because price is what the seller hopes for. Days on market is what the market actually believes. Okay, what is a buyer going to buy the property for? And right now, there's a large gap between seller expectations and what the market's absorbing. Why don't we start with what actually moved? Looking at 65 Dean Avenue, if you know Guelph and you hear this street name in itself, it does something to you. As soon as you hear Dean Ave, you're like, oh, I get it, right? There's a certain feeling that goes along with that neighborhood and of course along with that street in itself. So 65 Dean, custom built, a 53 by 113 foot lot. Like that is proper Guelph lot, around 4,300 square feet total, listed at 1.689 and it sold for 1.750. 4 days on the market, $61,000 over asking. Next, let's look at 93 Durham Street, and that's located in downtown Guelph. Originally 1908 brick construction, just over 2,100 square feet. Again, listed at 1.3, almost sold at 1.329. 2 days on the market. I understand I'm glancing at these properties. If you want to look at anything in depth, if you want specific data point and actually features of the home, please reach out. I'm happy to share them with you. Onwards to 80 James Street. And this is an old university, 1970 built on a 74 by 99 foot lot, listed at 1.3 almost, sold for 1.325. 12 days on the market. 46 Sandpiper Drive, located in Courtright Hills, built in 1998, has a pool, listed at almost 1.3, sold at 1.328, 7 days on the market, and that's with buyer due diligence. Meaning, it went conditional, buyers fulfilled those conditions, and it still sold for over asking in multiple offers. Now let's look at the flip side, because there's always a flip side. 3 Levering Lane, located in Courtright East, a 2021 new build. And here's what really matters. Yes, this does fall under a condominium. Someone has listed this as a 15.5 frontage. Listed Jan 2026 at 1.339. Doesn't sell. Gets relisted at 1.475. The price went up. 118 days on market. Okay, as the time that I pulled this data, it's still active, and yes, it actually falls under a condominium, and that definitely matters. Moving to 28 Norwich Street, downtown Guelph, a 2025 build on a 64 by 49 foot lot, listed at 1.45. It sat for 102 days and finally sold at 1.290. Okay, that is a $160,000 reduction in sale price to list price if you're looking at the sale to list price ratio. Moving to 62 Lovett Lane, located in Courtright West. Okay, this is a net zero home, and there are folks that really believe and want that sort of a property, and I understand for long-term savings. That property listed at 1.369. It sold after 96 days on market for 1.243 million. Down $126,000 from what they initially came to the market at, what they asked for. This is all of these properties fall into that same price range, in the same city, in the same market. The difference in outcomes though is not subtle. It is substantial. There is a property coming up in this video and a specific neighborhood comparison that I believe is going to completely change how you think about where the real value in Guelph's luxury market actually lives. So just stay with me. I love touching on this. So what is the market telling us? What is all of this actually telling us? It's telling us that at $1.3 million in Guelph, you are not just paying for square footage. Okay, you are paying for what the home carries with it. When you think about Old University or Exhibition Park or downtown Guelph and even pockets of Courtright East, these are neighborhoods with identity. The streets have trees that have lived there for over 100 years. The lots are deep. The architecture has something to say. Buyers who want these neighborhoods will wait. Okay, they will literally wait for the right property to come up, and when it does, they move fast because they know it will not sit. Now think about a 2021 new build on a 35-foot lot in Courtright East or even Arkell. It's brand new, the finishes probably are beautiful, but 30-foot frontage with no real depth for yard, there's no real breathing room. There is nothing that makes it irreplaceable. And because this is a luxury market update, we're talking about what is special. Okay, at $1.3 million, you don't want replaceable. So this is a comparison that buyers at this price point need to be making. And to be honest, they're already making it. Most of them are. It's not just about price per square foot, not just what year it's built, but what does this home carry? What is the actual lifestyle it delivers? Because 3,000 square feet with no backyard and neighbors who are 6 or 8 feet away is a very different life than a 2,100 square foot home on a 75-foot frontage with mature trees and a street that has true character. They might be priced the same. They are not the same. Old University, Exhibition Park, downtown Guelph, Old Courtright East are not selling quickly because there's some sort of hype there. They're selling quickly because they are genuinely finite in what they offer. There is a limited number of lots that come up for sale. There's a limited number of homes on those streets that truly meet what buyers are looking for. When one comes up, the buyer who has been waiting, they know it. And that is what drives 4 days on market. That is what drives offers over asking or even multiple offers. Some South End subdivisions, the new build, the townhomes, the narrow lots, even East Guelph, they can be replicated. More can always be built, and the market prices that accordingly. Hey, if you're in this price range right now and you are trying to figure out what actually makes sense for your situation, this is exactly the kind of conversation that I have with potential buyers who are discovering Guelph to lay roots. I do this on a weekly basis. If you want to talk it through, there's a link for you to book a call down in the description. Moving on, let me show you some of what is currently active, because there are some extraordinary properties, beautiful properties in Guelph's luxury market right now. 75 Lion Avenue in Exhibition Park. It is a side split, 72 by 116 foot lot, listed at 1.75 million, and so far 29 days on market. This listing, it literally notes that homes on this street rarely come to market, and when they do, people pay attention. It's true. 27 Varden Drive in Old University. This is a custom built home, 2024 by Bellamy. It's a 90-foot wide lot, 126 depth, and it overlooks the Cutton Fields Golf Club, listed at about 2.4 million. It's 3 days on market. Yes, there has been a little bit of active, inactive activity there. 75 Woodside Road in Old University. This is a Charleston built like bungalow, $2.3 million, 15 days on the market. And then there's this one, 66 Paisley Street in downtown Guelph. Built in 1860, limestone, over 5,000 square feet. It's listed at 3.2 million. And if you have ever driven past it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is not just a home. It is a piece of Guelph's history, truly. If homes could talk, like this one has so much character, I think it even carries a special energy within it. It's absolutely stunning. And if you're shopping in these specialty luxury markets, then you absolutely understand the value in that statement. 22 Stewart Street in Guelph. It's a Tudor Gothic, like revival built 1856. It's on 2/3 of an acre, and it's been attributed to the same architect with the British Parliament buildings, listed at 2.35 million, 84 days on market. I mean, and that tells you so much. Also, at that price point, the right buyer is very specific. And also, I want to acknowledge these large price points, they take time. There's a lot of reasoning that has to happen. There's a lot of, okay, I understand the history, I understand the depth of what these homes hold, but what does it hold structurally for me? What does this hold for my kids who I'm trying to, relocate into a new city? What does life look like if we lived there, right? There are so many considerations to make. And in a market like we're in today, when you see these price tags, there's even like a deeper layer of consideration that has to be made. How long do you plan on holding this property? Because of its unique nature, this is not it's an entire subdivision of cookie cutter homes that look the same that I'm trying to offload at a luxury price point. This is such a unique property. I might hold on to this. Maybe this will become part of our legacy plan, flows down our lineage. This is a deeper, different consideration you're making when you buy into these specific properties, of course, at these luxury price points. These price points, the buyer is very specific. And when they find it, like this home, it will never be confused with ordinary. And if you ask me, that stat alone is worth a subscription. So if you want this kind of breakdown every month, I would encourage you to hit subscribe. So what does all of this actually mean if you are in this market? If you're a buyer, the character homes of Old University or Exhibition Park or definitely downtown are not really sitting. They are moving, often with good interest. And if one comes up that fits your life, the data is telling you that you do not have the luxury of waiting to see what else comes along. As you know, these properties are so unique. You probably do not have that kind of time to sit and wait. Okay. If you are looking at new builds in the $1.3 to $1.5 million range, there's real negotiating power there for you. Okay. There's room. 28 Norwich sold at $160,000 below asking. 62 Levitt Lane sold $126,000 below asking. The market has not been supporting those prices that they hit the market at. So use that information to your advantage and negotiate. If you're a seller, pricing in this range is not just about comparable sales, truly. It is about being honest about what your home carries. A new build in a subdivision does not carry the same weight as a character home on a real lot in an established neighborhood with over beautiful tree canopies, even if they're priced the same. If you are listed as though they are equivalent, the days on market will tell you a story. So the sellers who are winning right now are the ones who are priced for what the market actually believes, what it can absorb, okay? Not what you hope for. And the data will support you there. Luxury is not a number. In Guelph right now, luxury is a feeling. It is a street you have always wanted to be on. The lot that gives your family room to breathe. The home that has a story of its own, that existed before you and will carry something forward even after you. Okay, the market knows the difference. 4 days versus 118 days on market. There's nothing random about that. That is the market speaking very clearly at these luxury price points. And if you are in this price range as a buyer or even a seller, the most important thing you can do is get clear on what you are actually after. Not just the price, the life, the home, the lifestyle it delivers. That clarity is what separates the people who move with confidence from the people who sit on the fence until someone else buys the home that they wanted. What does a home at this level actually look like for you? And if you want to understand the full Guelph picture, large, zoom out, not just the luxury segment, my Guelph market update covers every price point every month, and that video is linked below. And it's also the one that's been seeing a little bit of traction, so I encourage you to go have a look.